Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another edition of Wisdom on the Whiteboard. My name is Sean. I am an inner alignment and mindset coach, and today's episode is something that I think is one of the most powerful things that we can really know, and something that I'm asking you to play with and consider. You know, everyone's got their different beliefs and perspectives and views of the world and themselves and what they think all of this is. So if any of this is not in alignment with that, beautiful, that's great. I'm asking you to keep your mind and your heart open and to feel what resonates with you, because that's what really matters. We can read a book, we can listen to anyone speaking or watch any videos, and you know, it might be 85% fluff, but the 15% that resonates with you, that's what you take. That's what you put in the arsenal. That's what you integrate and try out in your own life. See how it feels. So that's what I'm asking you to do here in this video. Now, what if all of the challenges, all of the problems, all of these huge roadblocks that you have in your life, all of these things that seem like they're perilous mountains that you can't get around, you can't overcome, whether it's with finances, relationships, health issues. What if I told you, and how would you feel if you knew that all of that was designed by you? What if I told you that all of those roadblocks you actually orchestrated so that you could evolve, that you could come back to remembering who you really are? Because here's the thing. This matrix, this system that we grew up in, that we were conditioned by, our society, our culture, our teachers, parents, growing up in a certain period of time, that shaped and molded so much of who we are. And that's why so little of who we are is authentic and who we actually are. The truth of who we are is so much greater than this little guy, the little mind, could ever understand. Now, the mind is a beautiful tool. And what's that quote? The mind is a beautiful friend, but a terrible master. Something like that, right? And it's true. If your mind owns you, you will suffer greatly. But guess what? You're not here in this life to have your mind run the show and be a slave to that the whole time. You're not here to be a slave to your emotions. You are here because you wanted to become a master of the body. You wanted to become a master of your mind and your emotions, to really optimize this experience on this physical plane. Okay? So how does that change things? If you know that you are the one from a higher plane of existence, from another dimension, let's say, that orchestrated all of this to help you work through the energies that you needed to work through to get to where you wanted to go, to make your highest desires fulfilled. What does that do? I'll tell you what it does. It makes you know that you can't be a victim anymore. And you can actually begin to appreciate these problems. I'm not alone in this, clearly, but I've had a mindset of lack and scarcity for the majority of my lifetime, let's say. And it always frustrated me because I had such big visions and dreams and things I wanted to do, and traveling the world and experiencing different cultures and doing things that were going to expand my being. But I always felt like I'm never going to be able to do those things because I don't have the money to do it. I got to trade more time for money. I got to put in more hours. And that was so real to me for so long. But as I am expanding my awareness, as I'm coming back into alignment with the truth that is inside me, infinite possibility, okay, I'm realizing that the abundance, the prosperity, the different ways that money could flow in to support these dreams are endless. The combinations of energies and frequencies that can make all of this happen that are so far beyond my little limited mind of, well, I need to work 80 hours to get more money now. That's going out the window. And it took me a while to get there. And I'm realizing, this is our evolution for so many of us. Because our ancestors, what we carry in our bloodlines, in these bodies that we inherited, think of how far back that goes. All of the people and the generations and the hardships that are in your DNA that went all the way up until now. You're carrying all of that in here. And now you have the awareness, because we're finally in a place where we don't have to be in survival, we can be in creative expression. It's like, oh shit, I'm the one that's got to work this out. I'm the one that evolution is using to create a brand new species, a brand new consciousness that will be part of the human experience, where people will not be existing from this level of mind of lack and scarcity. And what happens is when you start to understand that you are the one orchestrating this, you are the one who is taking this on, the victim stuff just goes out the door and it empowers you. And then, just like other areas of our life, when our awareness expands, the most common one being when you buy a new car and then you start seeing it everywhere. It's no different than abundance and prosperity. Because when you start to realize you already are that, you are in alignment with that, and it's only your mind and it's only these fears that were being carried in your DNA that aren't even yours. When you start to know this, you go out into the world and you see the abundance. You see the prosperity. You see how much there is for everybody on this planet. I mean, it's wild. And then you'll start to see that in every different area. Like, I know right now, as I've done this work and I've done this embodiment and I've really considered this and started to shift my consciousness, I'm seeing it everywhere I go. I'm like, wow, there truly is enough for everyone on this planet to thrive. And the idea that there isn't is not real. That idea is actually the thing that keeps us enslaved. So that idea gets perpetuated by media, by those who want to stay in a higher position of power. They want the masses to think that idea is real because they know it's not. So they get to stay in the ivory tower, and most people don't have anything. So that's what we're evolving out of. And the circumstances that we have on our planet today are giving us that opportunity to step out of that and create something brand new. Because the more I dive into this for myself, when I have children one day, it will not be passed on to them. And they will not be conditioned by that. Our parents didn't know. Our grandparents didn't know this. We know this now. So we're carrying the burden, like the millennials and the generations that are coming up. It's like, all right, guys, take the torch. Time to create something brand new on this planet. And that's what we're doing. That leads me to my first point. Chaos always is the precursor to unfolding potential, to unfolding higher potential. Okay, now a lot of this I've been studying in a book called Holodynamics. And this work is done by a man named Dr. Vernon Wolf. Brilliant man. And his ideas and his work, so much of it is explained by actual science, by quantum mechanics, that it's really an in-depth look at what our reality really is. Because science can measure up to about, I think right now, 30 different dimensions, okay? And we're used to 4. We got our 4 little dimensions we've been in, and we're just like walking around, 4D. And there's a lot more going on than that, right? Infinite possibility. We've been tuned into 4 little TV channels, but there's a whole lot more out there. So every time you see chaos come into your reality, whether it's in your own life through massive challenges that show up or things you're seeing break down in the world, you know, and you can get the foresight to know that something much better is coming in. But we go into the reptilian part of our brain that's like, oh my God, survival. What happens? Our energy goes right down into our root chakra. That's a whole other conversation for another time. But all of our energy goes into our root chakra at the base, and all of our thoughts become centered around survival, fear, selfishness. And it's not any of our fault. That's just where our awareness and our energy is. Okay? So when we know this and we see it dip down and we start going into that frantic fight or flight, stress response, we can slow down, we can center, and we can bring ourselves back to the truth. Right? We can change our energy to not dwell in that space, which more thoughts will be created from. And when we attach to that, we think we are that, and we lose sight of our truth, right? So it's a beautiful thing. Things that are breaking down in the world, it's amazing to see it happening right now. And it's amazing to see in your own life, because that's how you evolve, my friends, okay? Now, here's a quick quote. Always choose to do something beyond your abilities. That way, you are forced to listen to the dimensions beyond your current self, from which all solutions are available. What does that mean? To me, that means when you do something that makes you stretch, that you haven't done before, that scares the hell out of you, you are forced to go in that unknown place where that higher dimensional aspect of you, which some call the higher self, the true self, the soul, you're in alignment with that. And when you do things that are outside of the comfort zone, the convenience, the little bubble that we like to stay in, it's nice and safe here and I don't have to do much. When we go beyond that, which is what entrepreneurship really forces you to do, I'm discovering, and personal growth, same thing. It's all personal growth. But that's when you really find your magic. Because when you align with that part of you, that's when you get a sense of, oh, wow, I am so much greater than I realized. There's so much more to me than I imagined, right? Now, have you ever, maybe you wrote something, or maybe you were telling a story, or maybe you were performing some kind of thing, and it was way beyond what you had ever been able to do before, and you're almost like, was that even me? How did I just do that? Was that even me? What Dr. Vernon Wolf says is when that happens, you are coming into the full alignment of your true nature, your higher self, your full potential self. And that's why there's no mind, there's no thoughts, it's just all in the moment, and you're in perfect alignment with that part of you. And that's the idea. That's what we want to align with each day more and more. Now, it's a practice because we're deconditioning all the shit that we learned that has gone on top of that. So if we can start to develop a relationship, and we can start to do things that help us to get more in alignment so that we can have more of those experiences. Some people call it flow. And that's when you practice something over and over and over again to the point where you don't have to think about it anymore. You just do it. You know, athletes, that's a big thing. Speakers, people that are doing public performances of some kind, they get into a flow state. We can do that in our everyday lives. And how do we know we're in that? Because you feel super grateful and you feel appreciation for everything, which is a big part of this. Transformation happens when one gains a perspective of gratitude and appreciation. So going back to what I was saying earlier, what if you knew that you were the one that placed all of the challenges, all the problems in your life so that you could overcome them, and that would get you the desires that you were born with, that you came here to experience and express. When you know this and you believe this, you can start to be grateful for these things when they show up. When the scarcity and the lack around money shows up, thank you. Reminder to go back into my abundance alignment. Reminder to see the prosperity all around me. Reminder to be so grateful for what I already have. To change my energy, my vibration, so I'm not pushed down into the lower root chakra again and existing from a place of survival and selfishness. Okay? So, you can't be a victim when you know that it's all you. Right? You can't. And the ego's like, no, I want to be the victim. Please, stay as the victim. But the real you is like, I love you, to that part of my ego that wants to stay in that place. And it's only because you like to feel safe and you want certainty and you care. You want to help us survive. But now this creative, real, true part of us that we're evolving into through all of this craziness is embracing that part and saying, I got you. I'm going to take the wheel. Put you in the back, and I'm going to take the wheel now. And that's what we have to allow in our lives for this to really sink in, for this evolution to really take place. There's a lot more to this idea. There's a lot more to say about this, but for this video, my point I want to hit home is, where is the biggest roadblock? Where's the biggest hurdle in your life? Is it money? Is it certain relationships? Is it insecurity? Is it whatever it is that's keeping you from expanding and living the life that you want to live? What is that? You're at a job you hate and you feel like you're stuck. You can't leave it because of money. What is it? And then come to the perspective of, I created this. I set this up so that I could liberate myself from it, so I could get the perspective of, okay, this is not what I want. This is not who I am. And get back into alignment and remembrance of who it is that I came here to be. And I would not have gotten that without the challenges, without the problems. And then you can begin to thank all of the problems that show up, and that gratitude and appreciation immediately transforms those issues energetically. And that's how you'll start to see the outside shift very quickly, the more that you can embody and maintain that. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is really powerful stuff. And again, play with it. What did you feel when you were watching this? What resonated with you? What stood out? Take that and leave everything else. That's it. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Much love. And what a beautiful time to be alive. It really is. I'll see you guys in the next one.